Good night, everybody, and welcome once again to another LimeVibe Live podcast. This is your host with the most, Mr. Yori Araman Kemp. Let me get my hat. My hat isn't on, Kim. You didn't tell me. Gotta put my hat on.
Sorry. Apologies.
Yep. And I'm here with Miss Kimberly Ram-Calawan. Yori Kemp from Nassau, Bahamas, and Kimberly Ram-Calawan from Trinidad and Tobago. How you doing tonight, Kim?
I'm trying to keep warm. It's very rainy here in Trinidad. We had rain.
Yes, it's raining here too, actually. It's raining here in Nassau, Bahamas
so
too.
you all had floods.
Yeah, we had terrible floods, man. You can't get down the main Bay Street on the eastern part of Bay Street. You can't get down the main street.
I meant to ask you about the floods yesterday morning, but
yeah,
I've been in a state lately that has me just off of it, sort of.
Yeah, I know. But you're gonna be okay though. You're a fighter. You're gonna be okay.
I'm a fighter, but this one is really taking a toll. In time, I will reveal what's really happening with me, but it's amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's a huge journey, and you're gonna reveal it soon. So don't worry. We all here with you, man. We are all here with you, Ms. Ram-Calawan. So, what's been going on around the Caribbean, man? I heard Tyler Perry's pissed off at Grenada.
Yeah, Tyler Perry. He says that the island is.
Oh, before we start, please like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. Like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page, LimeVibe 77 on Facebook and YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe because it really helps us to share our message with a wider audience. And also, there's a donate link inside the description. So if anything that moves your heart to give to the LimeVibe podcast, please do. We really appreciate your support and all of our supporters and listeners who are tuned in right now, actually. So yeah, go ahead, Kim. Sorry.
So yeah, I know we were talking about Tyler Perry. Yeah, he put up on Instagram that the island is homophobic. He was talking about a friend of his calling him and was sounding rather distraught over the murder of that John T. Johnson guy. What's his? Yeah, John T. Robinson. John T. Robinson, who was found dead. I think it was last month on one of the beaches, right? And the police had denied that he was killed because of his sexuality. But Tyler Perry, he went on to talk about it on his Instagram. And he said he's offering a reward for information on the murder.
What's that? Wow.
So he's getting involved in this whole thing.
That's good. But sorry for Mr. Robinson's passing, but these things happen sometimes, man. I'm sorry that Tyler Perry has to get involved with it,
Yeah.
And he carries a lot of weight, He's a big time star.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we've been having these things lately in the Caribbean. Just last week, I think there was a situation in Guyana on an American Airlines a flight where one of their personalities was removed from the flight because they made issue with one of the flight attendants made an issue with him because they called him Sue. But he is
he's one of those, right?
Yeah, and he took offense with it, right?
Oh my goodness. For someone like me, they're gonna have to hate me because if you were born a man, I'm gonna call you sir. If you're born a woman, I'm gonna call you a lady. You're just gonna have to hate me, man. Because I'm not getting involved in that psychopathy, that craziness, man. I'm just not gonna do it.
And then last week we had our own characters here in Trinidad, with one of them being attacked while on the streets, but they said he was actually harassing one of the workers that he normally has a good rapport with, but he decided to tease him, and it took the person overboard, and he started kicking him on the streets, and he suffered some severe bruises. And I know they are also human. We have to look at them. They are human, and treat them. You don't have to be that way. That person in Trinidad needs to also be charged and for assault.
Yes, he does.
So
he does,
just
I guess
why interfere? And they're still someone's family member. Whether you like it or not, they are relative, just like yourself.
Yes. Somebody loves them just like how somebody loves you.
Exactly.
But I think nothing compares to what's been happening in Jamaica when the Jamaican government denied the gay diplomat from the United States. That's caused a huge backlash. And have you been following that? And as a result of Jamaica denying the landing of the American diplomat, who they would not name, by the way, and I hate when the American media does that. Name the diplomat, man. I hate when they don't put these people out in the forefront.
Because they're afraid of the hate. They're afraid of.
But he's in America. He's not going to Jamaica. He's in America. He's never going to Jamaica. He's being rejected.
I'm sure the names might be revealed later on.
Yes,
right?
hopefully soon, because we'll get to see exactly who this person is. Yeah. But that aside, though, United States has retaliated, and they've told 3 Jamaican diplomats that are living in Miami and New York that they have until the end of the year to get out of the country after their visas expired.
Really?
Diplomatic visa. Yeah, tell them to get out. They tell them to get out. The United States government tell those 3 diplomats in the United States, the Consul General in Miami, the ambassador in Miami, as well as the Consul General in New York. Their terms expire at the end of this year. They're 5-year terms, and they're telling them to get out.
All because you're not accepting who they're sending.
Exactly. Yeah. The gay diplomat.
So
it's just crazy.
You want to tarnish relations with Jamaica because of this.
Yes.
Jamaica is one of those islands in the Caribbean that, I mean, they get a lot of heavy tourism from Americans, right?
Yes. Like most of us in the Northern Caribbean.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to respect one country, but retaliating, these diplomats have been there years.
Yes.
They have not broken any laws.
And some of them are scared. Because some of them, they already started businesses and they have their children in school and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So they don't want to lose these benefits. But, United States tell them they got to get out. And Karima Johnson, she's the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Jamaica. She's been trying to make the round, trying to, calm things down. But Andrew Holness said, no sissies in Jamaica. And that's just unfortunate, though, Kim. I don't want to trivialize it, right? That's just unfortunate. I think that homophobia has just gone well overboard in Jamaica. There's no reason for that, because
I believe what was stopping them is because the law still remains, buggery law, remains in place in a lot of our Caribbean islands. Here in Trinidad, we still have that. They're working against it to remove it. And I remember Memo Motley talking about they're going to remove that at least. But it's for adults, it's with regards to adults. And until then, you're entering a space and place. You've got to respect whatever existing law it is, whether you view it as being archaic or not. Just like when we enter your nation, we respect and abide by your law, your legislation.
Yes. Thank you for that incision, Kim. Thank you for that, because I forgot that they have the sodomy law still in place in Jamaica. So if they would allow that gay diplomat in, he'd be breaking the law immediately.
That is the whole premise of the entire rejection of that particular diplomat.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
And it's to also save you from any embarrassment.
Yes.
So God forbid you were to have come in here and you brought your spouse, and it would not have sat well with the Jamaican people.
Yes.
Knowing that, hey, how are they getting away with it while the rest of us are getting charged?
Yeah, and they're gully queens. And they have a huge gully queen population in Jamaica, They live in the slums. Yeah, huge gully queen population. But something? I hope that Jamaica finds the courage to put it on the bill at least. Andrew Holness may not do it because I think he wants to spend another about 10 years in government. So maybe someone else with a bit of courage is going to put this bill forward to repeal the sodomy laws in Jamaica. Because it doesn't make sense. This is just, it's going overboard, because who knows? Let's say, for example, if the person wasn't open gay, let's say if the diplomat wasn't an open gay and decides to come there and, he brings his girlfriend or he brings his boyfriend with him, or he decides to meet somebody there in Jamaica, like what's going to stop him then,
Yeah.
You already accepted him.
Very true.
And
you would have to hide that under the radar or something.
Yeah, you gotta do your sister.
You'll just see them as being close friends and compatriots.
Yeah, we repealed that law back in 1991.
Really?
The sodomy law. Yeah, we don't have that on the books anymore.
Because you're in the privacy tourism state, right?
Yeah. Once it's in the privacy of your own home, the government can't get involved in your business. But once you in the public domain, in the public space, then it becomes a crime. But even so, lewd behavior And even open heterosexual sex is against law. It's called in public indecency. And so
Yes,
you can't do that
definitely.
in public either. So yeah, but they decriminalized homosexuality in the confines of your own home in the Bahamas back in 1991. And
Okay.
the very next year, the Lyndon Pimming government lost the election. But they had some other issues going on, though. They had some other issues going on. It wasn't just about
So,
that homosexuality law.
but
You know?
us Caribbean people, we've discussed this multiple times here on Line Vibe, that Caribbean people are very much reserved and they still hold steadfast to their religious principles and
Oh
beliefs.
yes, 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 yes.
Christianity, Hinduism, Muslim, whatever. We had a discussion some time ago that there was a possible introduction of a book, a storybook into our nation's
Oh
schools,
yes, yes. I remember that.
right? And that spurred quite a good bit of denominations putting out press releases saying what they stand for. That included the Trinidad Muslim League, which has their League of Schools here in Trinidad.
Okay.
And they spoke out against it. Asha did. That's another Muslim cleric. And so did the one of the churches that I followed, Open Bible, Pentecostal, full gospel churches. They put out something against it, lining up, hey, this is our principles, this is what we believe, and this is what the word says. You're not going to force us to change. If you want
I'm surprised they didn't burn down that bookstore, though.
No, we're not going to do that. Trinidadians are very much tolerant.
Okay.
They will probably not patronize you. But the thing is, it's school book season. And that's one of the main suppliers of books, textbooks.
Yeah.
Across
So
the
you have to
region,
go there.
across the
I
island.
know. You have to go there, right? But did they ever take the book off the shelf? No? Yes?
No. They stood by what they said. They put out a press release, a statement on their Facebook page that they were in support of it, and they really did not care who said who vexed lost, basically.
Yeah. That's what I don't like, because it's being targeted at children, I believe children should come into that understanding, or young people should come into that understanding of their sexuality much older, when they're 15, 16, when they really start to experiment with going on dates and having relationships with their friends. I think that's when you're supposed to explore that sexuality, conversation with your kids, but not at 7 and 8 years old, man. What do they know about kissing?
No. I mean, your body starts to change at 11, 12. When I was in high school, I went to a co-ed school, and there were boys that were different, and they were younger than me. I was probably 14 and they were like probably 13, 12. And I probably attributed to whatever environment they were brought up in. You never know how they were treated as children, if they were abused, interfered with. And that probably shaped and molded how they view their sexuality.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I can imagine. So you like younger fellas when you were in high school, Kim?
No. They were young. I'm just telling you the observance I had at that age, because I was 13, 14, and these guys, they were younger. I was a school prefect at the time, so you would pay attention to everyone. And I noticed some young fellas, young guys like that.
Okay.
So,
I think some people know when they're about 12, 13 exactly if they are heterosexual or homosexual. I think they know. They have a strong idea. And I realized as well too, not because everyone acts feminine, like a man acts feminine means he's gay. He may have a lot of female relatives that he patterns himself after. That doesn't mean he's gay.
perhaps, I guess so. I mean, I have a few colleagues and friends that are like that. But up to now, I can't tell.
You can't tell it.
I still can't tell. But yeah, they could probably be bi.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's
that's none
true.
of my business. And I mean, I still like
Yeah,
them.
of course.
I love them. They're my friends. They're my colleagues, and I have fun with them still.
Yeah.
They come across very masculine at times, and they come across very, they're in touch with the feminine side, with taste and style and fashion and everything.
Yes. They're good girlfriends too sometimes, aren't they?
I guess so, yeah.
But something, me personally, I don't mind a flaming queer around me. I don't mind a flaming gay around me. What I don't like is I don't like those aggressive gays, those guys who think that they can pull a heterosexual man like me. No, you cannot. You cannot turn me over. You cannot, absolutely, under no circumstance can you turn me over. So don't touch me. Don't ask me out. Don't be nice and cordial and friendly and chummy with me. Don't put your arm around me. Don't touch me. Don't do anything, man.
Yeah, I think and I say this to both genders. Please be respectful and mindful of my space. Any
Yes.
man, I'm not going to allow any man to come and put his arm around me. I'm going to watch you. It's like, no, even you like me or not. And same goes for a woman, right?
Yeah, I can imagine. But you
Right?
know, women are touchy-feely, you know. I don't mind a woman touching me. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
mind.
I know
Women are
women are
touchy-feely.
touchy, but they have their hand gestures and probably
Yeah.
yeah. The only person I'm touchy with and I'm probably conscious of it is my husband.
Yeah, Carrie. He doesn't like touch?
No. That's the only person I know. Okay, well, I could touch him on his
Okay.
thigh when you're driving or something like that.
Yeah, he's not surprised by it.
Yeah,
Even my
yeah,
mom, I don't like her touching me. And she knows that. When she tries to put on, I pull away, you know. I don't like it.
yeah. That's a natural reflex,
Yeah.
and I think we developed that as we became teenagers. Because
Mm.
as a teenager, we became conscious of our bodies. Like I was, I really like my dad. I would hug my dad, gravity, sit on daddy's lap, do
Mm.
anything with daddy. As soon as you became a teenager or preteen and things started changing,
That's stop. That's right.
yeah, it's like, okay, when you're hugging, it's like, okay, we're hugging like this.
Don't get too close. That's true.
Yeah.
That's another thing. What do you think about? It's kind of like a dovetail. What do you think about male and female being friends, platonic friends? You think you think that's just a fool's game, or you think there's always going to be some room for, let's say, sexual activity to happen between men and women?
I've had male friends that are totally platonic.
Mm,
It's the same. I think okay, just friends.
mm,
It's like I understand that, hey, you like this person, I like this person, this is our tastes vary. We are
okay.
totally different, and it's not going to ever be like that. It's just
Mhm.
friends.
Yeah, yeah. No, because the way you said that when you got older, you started to hug your father from afar. It made me
Right.
wonder that there's always this sexual, and even with your parents, and even with your
No, I
your
think
cousin.
we're conscious of our developing bodies
Okay.
as a girl child, and that's what
Mm,
I'm talking about. As you
okay.
grew older,
Mhm,
you transition from a preteen to a teenager.
mhm,
You're conscious of your body
mhm.
developing chest area, so that's why you'd hug that way.
Okay. I got you. I
Right.
got you. I got you.
That's girls,
Mhm,
mostly girls.
mhm. I guess you could say boys too. I mean, uh, my mom wasn't that lovey-dovey. I think that's why I have an aversion to being hugged and touched to a great extent right now, because this wasn't a huggy, lovey, touchy, feely
Yeah,
kind of relationship.
perhaps not everyone is like that. It's how you
Yeah,
were
I know.
brought.
How you brought? I think I was brought up kind of different. I was brought up with that no touch. Don't
Yeah,
touch. Don't touch each other. Don't put your hands on me, man. But some people just think that it's okay to put their hands on you. I don't know where you've been. I don't know where you've been. I don't know who you've been touching. If
yeah.
you touchy feel like that, God knows you had your hands everywhere, man. And that's
What
even before COVID.
what I'm conscious of is people touching my hair. Uh,
Uh,
I really don't like, and my husband is the same way too. People like to touch your hair just
yeah,
to feel the texture of it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I don't like that at all. No, don't.
Mm.
Unless I give you permission to touch my hair, don't.
I think all women hate that, man. Even black women with the fake hair, they hate women who touch their hair. People
Yeah.
touch their hair.
But some people are curious. It's like, okay, I just want to feel your hair. How
Mm.
your hair feels. You've
Oh
never
Lord.
felt hair before. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's kind of intimate though. When someone puts their hand on your hair though.
Mm. Other than that, here in Trinidad, we're actually in observance mode of the 33 years of our coup, the
Oh
1990,
yes.
and it's been quite of a somber mood for me in the sense that,
Mm,
I mean, every year I always think about it because I worked with a few of my former colleagues were
mm,
media workers that were held hostage
mm,
for several days
mm,
at the TTT television station,
mm,
and they were forever changed. And last night there was an entire 2.5 hour documentary and panel discussion
mm,
on our television on the impact of the coup on our police
mm,
service.
mm, mm,
And it was a perspective we hardly ever heard before. We've
mm,
heard from the army personnel.
mm.
We've heard timeless uh, Abu Bakr, he justified
Yes.
the
Yeah.
situation.
God rest his soul.
heard from the politicians, and we heard, and God rest his soul, he was a terrorist. And we heard from the politicians, we heard from the media practitioners, but I never heard the details of the policemen, and they were the majority of them were tragically killed on that day.
How many police officers died that day?
30 people were
30
killed.
people killed. Wow,
That's
something they don't talk about.
It was over probably a 5-day or 7-day period that our country was under siege. 1990.
Where were you when that happened?
I was 4 years old. My mom was pregnant with my sister.
Okay.
I vividly remember it because this is what we call month-end period. So my parents usually go out to the supermarkets to do grocery shopping. And they do their month-end grocery shopping. And we went, and I was a little girl in between my parents. And as soon as we got home, it was probably around 11 a.m. I don't know if it was 11 a.m. or later on. Perhaps it was later on. In my mind, that's what it felt like. And my grandfather had come to tell my dad that someone named Abu Bakr had taken over, overthrown the government, and had taken over the country.
Wow. But in reality, he really took over the radio station, right? Television, he didn't really take
over the Parliament of Trinidad.
Oh, right. Well, yes, because I remember. Remember the show called Carib Scope?
Yeah.
Several years back. Yeah, I remember we got the news probably in the Bahamas probably a week after that happened, because Carib Scope was replaying the incidents, the attack on the Parliament and the television. Newscast. Yeah, and we were getting late fees. I remember that. I was living in another area at the time. I remember that, vividly. I remember them storming into the Parliament and telling everyone to get down. That was a really scary time, man.
It was definitely some of the journalists that hid to cover the news as well. They walked across, these men and women that were there. They crossed over dead bodies that were rotting to escape.
Yes.
Right, bodies were left to decay on staircases and in the drains and on our roadways. There was mad looting in downtown Port-of-Spain. It was chaotic, and I when I listened to what our
Who was Prime Minister Chambers?
No, our Prime Minister was A.N.R. Robinson. He was shot. He was shot at. He was injured.
Okay.
Winston Ducaran was one of the ministers there. He was held hostage as well. One of the police officers, she spoke about, they wanted to tie her up in Parliament and they couldn't. So they used the plastic, how they call those, tie straps.
Okay, yeah.
It did not work because she could have bursted through. And her hand was hitting. She ended up using Winston Ducaran's necktie, and they tied her hands, in front. They were speaking Arabic. They were speaking another language while they conducted their business.
Yes. So but how did that really end though? Because we hear about them taking over the Parliament, right? And we heard about the siege, but we don't really understand what actually happened at the end of it. What actually brought it to an end? Can you recall that?
There was a negotiation. There was a negotiation that took place.
So he was negotiating with Abu Bakr because if he
the
had taken over the
army
government,
as well as the prime minister.
So he showed that he couldn't win.
Yeah, there was some negotiation that allowed them to, with an amnesty agreement in place, and they were able to surrender by August 1st, which is Emancipation Day on Tuesday here. And that is what happened, an amnesty agreement which would allow them to walk.
Okay.
And I think that was our biggest mistake, but it was done.
Anybody have any idea why he went through that? Abu Bakr, what jumped into him to decide that he's going to take over the Trinidad?
I found out that today, that day in Parliament, they were discussing the entry of an AK-47 into the country from the West, and all eyes were on him. He was the one that was bringing in these large weapons. Right, and he had something against the police. He said the police was clamping down on him too much.
Such a
However,
man
he
of peace.
also wanted to come down on the government of the day because they believed that the government's austerity programs back then was too harsh,
Yes, 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 yes.
right? I think we had gone to the IMF back then.
Right.
And
You know, I
while,
watched a documentary on YouTube about this, because at that time it was a real bad economic time in Trinidad, right? And people were looking for answers.
yeah, I mean, people were still employed. My
Mm,
my father-in-law was a policeman at the time too.
mm, mm,
And my husband always talks about it.
mm,
While it was very hard, they at least had their jobs, but they got a serious pay cut. Everyone's
mm,
salary, public servant salary was reduced.
mm.
There was the whole introduction of the VAT, right? That value added tax. So that was the whole thing, the
The
justification
impetus, yeah,
for
the
it.
impetus. That's unfortunate, man. But Abu Bakr is now passed away. Who else was involved? Any one of those co-conspirators still alive?
He still has his team and his members around there. His son has probably taken over
Mm.
to an extent.
Well, I can imagine his son was involved in the coup, though.
His son was very much young then, but his
Yeah.
son has taken over from, his footsteps.
Okay, okay, okay. I got you. I got you. It was
But
very unfortunate time in Trinidad, man. But you know something? If the West had paid attention to what had happened in Trinidad back in 1990, they would have understood that this Islamophobia, not this Islamophobia, but this Islamic extreme Islamism was a real problem. It was really already invading the West. You
yeah,
know?
because I believe they had some kind of training in Libya, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah.
they would have brought that back here in Trinidad, because if they were able to speak Arabic
Arabic.
fluent, and that's what they were speaking in front of the police officers, so no one would understand what they were saying.
Mm. That shows you they took their thing seriously. But I heard also too, though. I mean, moving forward into now, that there were several Trinidadian fighters fighting for jihad
Yeah.
inside the ISIS, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
and they're trying to get re-entry into the country
really.
because a lot of them have been taken hostage or they're being held in Syria and
Mm,
parts of Turkey. And the government needs to put in place a reintroduction of these people who have been, indoctrinated by the ISIS ways. So
I can
that's a
imagine.
good bit of concern. Their families have been fighting for it.
I can imagine the government
Getting
isn't in
ready
any rush
for
to
it.
get them back, right?
Yeah, some of them are using the thing that they're saying that, oh, they did not know this was going to happen. Their husbands took
Uh,
them to fight this a better life.
mm,
Their children being brought up this way.
mhm, mhm.
I
Bunch of
mean,
crock, bunch of
yeah.
foolishness. You know,
So we
they
have that.
they know damn well what was going on when they went over there, man.
But we have the peaceful Muslims right now in Trinidad,
Mm,
and they right now are celebrating Hussein. I think we wrote about this
mm,
last year in Caribbean Magazine Plus.
mm,
Last year it was still somewhat, it was now coming back after
mm,
the pandemic. It's like a street parade, but it is very religious oriented. They have the Tassa drums playing.
mhm,
I
mhm,
think Wednesday night was flag night
mhm,
when they would have passed on the flags. So this actually is the Muslim community's their commemoration of the martyrdom of their Prophet Muhammad's grandsons, according to them, Hassan and Hussein.
mhm,
It's a battle of Karbala in Persia.
mhm.
Here in
Okay.
Trinidad, they have that carrying of the tajas, which is like mini mausoleums, mini
Mhm,
mosque.
mhm,
And
mhm,
it's people like, because it's very colorful and pretty.
mhm,
People like to think it's like a carnival, but it's not,
mhm.
because it has that tassa drum. It has some significance to it.
Just a
And
religious event.
communities that have that Muslim community usually takes place. The biggest one is usually in St. James, which is a town out on the outskirts of Port of Spain.
Mhm,
And then they have, I think they have some celebrations in Cedros. We spoke about Cedros last year,
mhm.
and that's at the western southern peninsula.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
they gather and they carry this on. It's a few days that it's done. It's I believe it has something to do with they say that there's a Creole distortion to it, that the Hussein is a common name for the Muharram observances, which was observances that was done in 1800s, and it's linked to the Shiite Islamic group. So yeah, that's what's happening right now in Trinidad. So we, in the midst of, observing the coup, we are also observing the Hussein riots as well. And much of these families in St. James, they would have been affected by the coup as well.
Okay.
I know the Jamaat al-Muslimin is not too far from there. They're located also in St. James, but it's a different group of Muslims that are usually involved in these celebrations and these observances.
Okay. And they're the peaceful ones, right?
Yeah. And not I mean, they're not the that kind.
Oh.
Right.
Not the
like
Islamists.
like the Jamaat. Even though they have tried to clear their name, saying that they're no longer like that, but they just have a political stance. I think the country will not be ever so forgiving for
No, I think, yeah, that was a scary time, because I was afraid. I mean, but I was a child, seeing it through a child's eyes, right? I said, how could somebody really take over a government like that? How could you just run into a television station, just take over? It's like something out of a movie.
They started with the parliament, and they burnt down the police headquarters in Trinidad, which is I think across the road from parliament. It's not too far.
Okay. So it was scary for me watching, even though it was a week afterwards. I think at that time everything was really starting to settle down too.
And you all would have just seen a snippet of what really happened.
Yes.
We were under curfew for quite some time. We were not allowed to step out after a certain hour.
Who was the head of the army or the police at that time? You remember? Can you remember?
I can't remember. I think it was Brigadier. I can't remember who was it. Defense Forces back then. No. Let me see. Ralph Brown, was it Ralph Brown, I think. Jules Bernard was the Commissioner of Police. Selwyn Richardson was the Minister of National Security then.
Selwyn Richardson. I heard that name before, man. Is he still involved in politics?
I believe he didn't he not die?
Okay. Because I heard the name of Trinidad before, actually. See, that's how long I've been following you guys. I even could remember names out of my ears and all. I can remember names. Like the name strikes a bell. Selwyn Richardson.
Yeah, he died in 1995.
Okay. That's how long I was in love with Trinidad. So
he was in love with Trinidad.
Yeah, right. I remember some of your politicians off just like saying the name. The name strikes to me,
Okay.
Yeah.
Patrick Manning was the opposition leader after then. And,
yeah. I'm seeing you remember Patrick Manning with great fondness, man. I knew you guys were going to love
No. I'm just saying he was the leader of the opposition back then.
I know. I only tease him.
Noor Hassan Ali was our president. He was a very calm person. Acting president was Joseph Carter. But Winston Ducaran, whom I've had the pleasure of sitting down several times one-on-one conversations with, he was one of those hostages in Parliament for those days.
He's a veteran,
Yeah.
And speaking of Ducaran,
who is involved with the United National Congress lately.
Okay. Speaking of Ducaran too, there's still, like, even up to not this last election, you guys had the election before last, like they were still like in consideration for him to become the leader of the UNC. Has he got out of politics altogether now, or just what?
He's of age now. He's more frail now. He's out of politics now. And I really liked him when he ran the Congress of the People. He was that charismatic, gentle leader that I think we all looked up to. He had the experience, the wealth of experience of a politician and a diplomat that we needed at the time.
Yes.
I mean, they got the majority votes, but it did not win any seats, which was sad. And I because everyone remembers him with fondness, and I think they wanted to see him there. He had brought together a cadre of people of professional backgrounds in varying areas that would have helped build our nation in agriculture, in the health sector, and law, and bringing about the constitutional reform, because he had a team of lawyers and legal minds that were really pushing for this constitutional reform that was needed to ensure that there's 2 terms maximum, and there was a fixed election date. And his party, Congress of the People, was one of those that was behind it. It also saw the bringing of people from both sides of the aisle. People from the PNM and UNC had gone across. They had seen that, hey, we need some kind of change, and these were people that were dormant in their separate parties for a while, and some of them were even strong voters for their party, and they saw, no, this is about time we bring about change.
Yeah,
and I think
I
that
guess
that eye opener was needed.
I guess that Manning was just too strong for them,
Well, I think all parties put up a fight, but after that smelter issue and the whole he became a good bit arrogant. People say, all right, he called for another election before his term was done, and they said, all right, that's it, out you go. Too much was behind his name. It was too much.
Yeah.
Damage.
I'm glad you guys really passed that. So has anything changed with regard to policing these Muslim communities in Trinidad since that 1992?
I believe it's responsible for the level of crime we have right now in Trinidad.
Really? What about this Rasta City? They say this Rasta City is some kind of no-go, right?
There are so many gangs here in Trinidad. What the closest scare that we've had since then was in 2015. There was a prison break.
Okay.
And it was individuals linked to those gangs that escaped the prison. It was a scary time. There was a shootout. A lot of them returned to their gangs and they got shot and killed.
I think I remember that
night.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah, but
it was crazy. It was very crazy. One of my colleagues, his dad was one of the escapees, and he got killed. But I think that was the scariest. It probably occurred around this time or just before the anniversary of the coup. And when we heard that, it really startled all of us and caused us to, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? It also happened on a Friday afternoon, similar to the coup.
Okay. That's a Muslim holy day, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's they have their lunchtime Juma prayers.
Yes. Friday morning prayers, right?
Yeah, it's usually lunchtime, afternoon.
Have you ever worshipped inside the mosque?
No.
No?
No. I've visited, I've participated for media reasons at these events, but I've never been in one to do that.
We have one mosque here in New Providence. I visited there, but I haven't actually gone inside and listened to any of the quote unquote. Do you call them sermons in Islam? Or you call them speeches?
No, that's a different name for them.
Yeah, I can imagine, right? Because sermon is a whole other religion, right? Sermon is another religion. But yeah, I've visited, I've spoken to the Imam 3 times actually. And I've never actually went in for Friday morning prayers. And I think I may have a chance to experience that. I think I may experience that because I want to see what it's like. Because I can imagine it's very quiet and very peaceful. Yeah, I'm up for new experiences, man. And plus, it's not, you're not going there to worship Satan. It's the God of Abraham. I understand that. I see people worship in a different way. So I just want to go and see exactly what it's like to get on my knees, put my face to the ground and, pray towards, to the east.
It's very religious in that sense.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I believe in getting down on my knees, yes, and praying, but I can do that in my own home.
Yeah, you can. So do the Muslim guys in Trinidad, they sell a lot of perfumes and body oils?
What's that?
Do they sell body oils?
Body oils?
Yes, because the ones we have here, they are notorious, but they sell the best body oils, man.
Okay. No, yeah. I no.
No?
Like, we don't associate them with anything like that. They're normal people here in Trinidad.
Okay, okay.
They have their businesses
Mm,
and they work normal. We have a good bit of a population that belong to the Islamic faith. And they're like everyday people like you and I.
I can imagine. I can imagine. But here they're still seen as if, kind of like different from the society.
I
I
guess,
would even dare to say they're probably either on par or just a small step down below the Rastafarians, to be honest with you.
really?
Yeah, yeah. And Rastafarians, they're ostracized, right? The Rastafarians, they
Really?
like out of the society. Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Of
We have
course.
Rastafarians like normal here in Trinidad. That's normal.
You
And they eat
know,
ital and yeah.
they eat pork chop, you say?
Ital.
I
That's what
told oh, I say pork, so you say pork chop. you know,
yeah, they eat
I
it all
know it's
in their food.
have you ever have you eaten idol food before?
Yeah, we always do. That's part of our Trinidadian diet.
Yes, 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 yes. I was shocked. One of my friends, he had just now turned Rastas, a guy I graduated from high school with, and he cooked up a huge pot of idol rice, man. It was, man, he had all the spices and the herbs in it. You didn't even miss the meat. Didn't even miss the meat at all, man. It was just a good pot.
Yeah, it's quite a good bit of the provisions, the green figs, the yam, the
Yes,
cassava, sweet
yes, yes,
potatoes,
yes,
and
yes.
the vegetables, the tomatoes, and things like that.
That was when I was trying to become a Rastafarian. Can you imagine me being a Rasta? Can you imagine me being a Rasta? Can you really imagine that?
No, no,
I
no,
know.
because it
Perish of
requires a
thought,
good
right?
bit of self-discipline.
Oh, yes, it does. It does. It does. Changing your diet and changing what you have to do. But Rastafarians aren't really disciplined. These guys around here, these Rastafarians what run around here, these guys eat pumpkin chicken.
Okay, well, the Rastafarians that are in Trinidad are very disciplined in how they speak. They carry about themselves.
Hmm,
They believe in Selassie.
yes.
And yeah, they're quite interesting characters, but they're like everybody else here in Trinidad.
Yeah, I can imagine. I just hope God forgives me. Of course, He forgave me for my foray into becoming a Rastafarian, right? Because how can I reject Jesus Christ? How can I do that? Yeah, it was a time in my life. It was a time in my life.
Well, there was a time in my life when I was going to become a nun.
But really,
Yes.
really, oh wow. Tell us about that, Kim. What was that journey like? So I know what my journey becoming a Rasta was like, but how's your journey towards becoming a nun?
I felt the need to be really consecrated and give my life to Christ in such a way.
Really?
And not too far from where my parents live,
Mm,
there is the Carmelite sisters that run a children's home. And I usually went to volunteer with the sisters to take care of the children, reading,
mm,
writing,
mm,
reading stories and things like that. Um, I felt the need to do it for some reason, like a serious call
mm,
to give my life, consecrate my life in such a way. And then one of my friends spoke to me. I even wrote a letter to the Centinawan sisters,
mm.
and I have the card. It's shared on my Instagram. If you go through my Instagram, you
Really?
will see.
Okay,
And they
okay.
wrote to me and said, "Yes, we have not a problem welcoming you." And I said, "All right, not a problem." They were actually going to send me to a far remote village in Toko, northern part of Trinidad,
Mm,
had no
mm.
electricity, to tend to the villages and to speak there. I was
Yes,
really
cool, cool,
drawn
cool,
to
cool.
them. They live quite simple lives.
Mm,
I enjoy the way that they set aside their day, brought structure to
mm,
prayer and worship and reading the word. And
mm.
I was drawn to that, and I wanted something like that.
Yeah. So they
I
spoke to you.
Yeah, and I was doing my degree. I got ill. The
Mm,
whole lupus thing came on too, and I didn't. I remember you would just be given a stipend
mm,
to take care of your basic needs,
mm.
and lupus brought on a good bit of medical bills in my life.
So that's when you had to step back and become a nun.
Yes,
I got you.
so I would
The
have been a
devil
totally
attacked you.
different person.
Yeah. The devil attacked you. But look how God rerouted you, right?
One of my friends at the time told me, Kim, you don't need to go through such extreme lengths to consecrate your life before God.
Mm,
We can do that in our daily living, in
mm,
how we worship and how we live, how we speak and
mm, mm,
everything. And I took that as like, okay, fine.
mm,
It didn't happen that way. And yeah,
mm. I got you. I got you. Yeah. That was an interesting story, Kim. how you found God, how you walk yourself back, and how you still, keep on that path of faith and belief
Yeah,
in God
the
Almighty.
nurses were quite understanding. When they replied me and they were willing to speak to me, I had to tell them what had happened, and they kept in contact with me.
Mm, mm, mm. That's good. That's nice. That's nice, man. You were going to become a Catholic nun. I could see you becoming a Catholic nun. I could see you, turn your life over like that. I could really see that, Kim.
As a teenager, I was totally a different person, somewhat. Still weird and kind of weird,
Mm, man.
precocious,
Yeah.
precociously
Okay. I got you. No, you're good people, man. You're good people. I could remember myself wanting to become a Rasta. It was back in high school. I think everyone was what they call coming forward. They were coming forward with their dreadlocks, and it
weird.
was really appealing. I think it was the mystery and the bad boy image of becoming a Rastafarian. And then when you start listening to guys, they're talking, and I realized that hey, these guys are only talking to us when we're high as a kite. They're really trying to indoctrinate us, right? I
Yeah.
say, oh, yeah. And then for some reason it just appealed to me. I just said, so let's get involved. Let's start the broad dreadlocks. Let's get involved in the Rastafari movement. Highly Selassie. And all of a sudden, something just broke. I even stopped eating meat. I stopped eating meat and everything like that. I think it lasted for about close to a year. And all of a sudden, one day, I just had a craving for pork chops. Yeah,
Oh,
I went to my aunt and she was cooking pork chops. I said, I like a piece of that pork chop, please. She gave me a piece of pork chop. It's like, wow.
so what period of your teenage years was that?
Oh,
Can
this
you
is
remember?
between 18 to about 20.
Oh, no, that's still mature.
Yeah,
I
I was a mature adult. Yeah, I knew what I was doing.
I was a vegetarian between 13 and 15.
Really?
I didn't eat meat because of my allergies, my health.
Mm,
And I went to live with my uncle and his
mm,
girlfriend.
mm.
Um, he didn't cook on a Sunday. And
Wow.
his girlfriend went and bought KFC for me. And I ate just I was trying my best to keep just the mashed potatoes, the coleslaw, and the biscuit or on fries.
Mm.
But I think I gravitated to the original chicken.
Yes. That KFC chicken is hard to turn down. You just can't smell that wafting through the air and not want a piece of that. You're gonna want it. You're gonna want it, man. You're
So
gonna
much
want it.
that's my fix. Like if I
Mm.
go to KFC, if I'm having something, it's the original chicken breast,
Yes.
mashed potatoes, coleslaw, a biscuit.
Mm.
Yeah.
I had a friend named Sean, God rest his soul. We used to work at the KFC here, actually. We used to work at the KFC office. He told me how to mix coleslaw with the chicken. And man, I've been doing it ever since, man. I was eating KFC chicken all wrong. What you have to do is you have to take the coleslaw, you have to mash up the chicken, you have to put it in the coleslaw, you have to shake it up. Yeah, man. And you have to take another piece of chicken, you have to put like the ketchup packets and the hot sauce packets, you have to pour them all over it, and you have to shake that box up too. So everything could get really, really moist, man. All that ketchup and all that hot sauce can really seep into those fries and that chicken. Man, there's a totally different experience. I said I was eating KFC chicken all wrong all these years. And it took my friend Shannon, God rest his soul, to tell me I was eating KFC chicken wrong.
Oh God, no,
Because even before I met him, I even hated the coleslaw. I hated the coleslaw with a passion. But now I don't mind the coleslaw, man. You give me the coleslaw, I know exactly what to do with that. Yeah, man.
in Trinidad they did away with the biscuit, and I'm begging them to return the biscuit. How is it you could take away a biscuit from
What?
KFC?
That's not KFC then. He took away the biscuit.
Exactly, you need the biscuit.
Yeah, you need it, man, because I can't bring KFC home in this house and don't have a biscuit with it.
Yeah,
I'll have to go out for one, man.
I need those biscuits.
Yes, they're the
There's
best.
churches. The next best biscuits are the churches honey biscuits. So
Mm,
I could make those.
mm,
I could make those, but my eyes closed.
mm.
But I'm not
Yeah.
going to do that. I'm going to buy it instead.
The
But
only
yeah,
chicken I've tasted that tastes better than the KFC chicken I've tasted, and don't get me wrong with this kid. Don't hate me for this. But that Chef-Ed chicken in Barbados. If you ever had the
okay.
Chef-Ed chicken in Barbados, yeah,
No,
you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. That's salty, salty chicken that gives you high
salty.
blood pressure. Yeah, that makes your eye twitch. That's how much salt is in it.
That does.
Man,
There's a fried chicken food truck here in Trinidad called the
mm,
Cabin fried chicken, and it tastes like your home, like your mother made that fried chicken.
Lord.
And there's a long line to get it. You have to call an order and pray to God you get your
Is that
box.
bad? Oh wow. That sounds like our bamboo shack here too.
And
I'll
it's
tell you something.
piping hot.
It's piping hot.
Yeah, you get it piping hot.
Mm.
Like it's
They-
fresh
they-
out the fryer.
So did they serve it in like a container? Or serve it in like a bag?
No, they serve it in your normal boxes like what you get in KFC. And they sprinkle parsley and chili flakes. They've got a tamarind sauce, garlic sauce, and your ketchup to go with it.
Okay. Yeah, man. We have a culture here called chicken in the bag. You get your chicken like in a paper bag. They wrap it up in either foil or those wax wraps. That's the best thing taste chicken you ever. I think it's the experience of getting it in the bag that enhances the flavor of the chicken in the fries.
I think that's
Uh,
something I saw when I went through. I saw Suriname and Guyana. They serve food in a plastic bag.
Yes.
I've never had that here in Trinidad. No, we get food, but we get like wrapped, like our doubles and our rotis are usually wrapped in the paper, and then it's pushed into a paper bag, a brown paper.
Yes.
That's it. But to see fried rice and Chinese food in Guyana served in a plastic bag, and you're given a fork, it's like, what? No.
It seems unsanitary, doesn't it? Right? I guess that's the culture, you know.
I mean, no, not unsanitary. I mean, someone would see that here in Trinidad and think, okay, well, probably someone's throwing away food.
Yeah, I would think so too, you know.
And in Suriname, they served me roti in a plastic bag the same way too. So I just find it so odd. It's like
So
we're
strange, right?
accustomed getting food in boxes and platters and things.
No, man, we have a chicken in the bag culture here. You can get your chicken in a paper bag with either the foil or the wax wrap. And it's not the wax wrap. It's not wax because the wax wrap is another kind of wrap. It's like clear wrap, and you get it with your ketchup and your hot sauce on it, and your chicken. Those huge fries too. Yeah.
Steak cut fries.
Yes. That's our chicken in the bag, man. That's our culture, chicken in the bag. And we have these restaurants where that's all they do is they just have a window and you just walk up. It's called a chicken shack. It's just a window and you just go and you order your food and they serve you the food right out the window, man. That's our chicken shack culture. Yeah. You don't sit down there. You get your chicken and fries and you go. You get your hamburger and you go. You don't hang it up around out there.
It's basically you're getting food from a hole in the wall.
Exactly. And people love it. And people there love it. And I call it the chicken shack culture. They love it. Instead of sitting there like a decent human being and going inside a restaurant, they like this, chicken out the side of the window, man. And that's how people treat you. That's your mentality, man. That's your mentality.
So a hole in the wall is something like you bypass on the road you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah.
A hole in the wall is usually not a compliment here in Trinidad. But we have a food truck culture here in Trinidad for some time now. The last 20 years or even 30 years, they have food carts. And I told you about San Fernando Crossing where I live. There's a whole street, an entire street with food trucks. You can get anything. There's now these seafood boils I wish I could take. You get soups, you get doubles, you get your heroes, your gyros, heroes from the Syrians. You get a variety of burgers and fries, obviously. The fried chicken from the cabin. You get your enchiladas and your tacos, everything you can think of.
I'm starting to see the proliferation of these food trucks here in the Bahamas now too, they're not as pronounced as you would go in other places, but I'm starting to see them pop up more because people are now they don't want to spend money for the rent in some of these buildings, and so they just have the food truck on the side. Some of these they have the best food, man.
Yeah, they do, and it's cost conservative in the sense that compared to going to TGIF and spending a whopping $600 TT on just 2 persons, and that's a bare minimum.
Yes.
You go and you get a really wholesome meal for at least $100.
Yeah.
And it exploded in the last 8 years, 7 years. I think because people weren't spending that much money, their disposable income shrinked with the price of food and everything. And they've resorted to just going on and having these lines on the street. We have dinner dates in our cars.
Yeah, I guess if you
Sit
want to be
down.
romantic, you could be romantic, but I guess with a TGI fries, you're really paying for the ambiance, you're paying to sit down like a decent human being rather
Yeah.
than getting your food on the side of the road. I
But
can
people
I can understand that.
people come with that vans, that trucks you always call it, with the trays, and they sit
Hmm.
down in the trays and have a lime.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good cultural shift, man. Good cultural shift. Yeah, we like to sit on the beach. We like to go and drive
You
out
all
to
have
different spots.
plentiful beaches. We don't have beaches
Yeah,
that you could say you could go out in the night
yeah.
and sit down.
Because the island's bigger, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You could walk out from anywhere. I could walk from my house right now, and I would say in about half an hour, I could be to a beach.
Yeah. I know that for sure by you
Yeah.
guys. Here in Trinidad, I mean, the sea is right there,
Mm.
but it's not safe. We were hoping that they would have helped our San Fernando boardwalk and created those food truck areas where people could actually go online in the night.
Mm, mm, mm.
But they have not done that. They scrapped those entire plans for
Yeah.
developing our San Fernando waterfront. I really was hoping forward to seeing that happen.
Mm. Going back to something you said just then, you said the Greeks have the gyros.
Gyros, but the Syrians and the Lebanese that live here, they are the ones that make it.
They got okay. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the Turkish donas are the equivalent to those Greek gyros. They taste 100% better. And trust me, you can't compare a lamb doner or a chicken doner from the Turks, and really put it next to a Greek gyro. It really can, really can. And people only see these gyros now because that's all they see. But trust me, if you really had a lamb doner, a real good Turkish lamb doner, you understand why they have so much wars and they fight with each other so much, right? From time immemorial.
But the food is so good.
Yeah, the food is and it's different. Because I think the Turkish knocked off everything that the Greeks were doing. Because and I can see why they can't get along. Because trust me, those lamb donors taste 100% better, and they're almost the same thing, But I think the Greeks have just gotten into a cultural, I would say, a cultural laziness, a lackadaisical nature, where everyone they just accept it. They just accept that they're going to get that treatment off top. But really, it's not that good. It's not that good when you compare to somebody else.
The Greeks are more passive, quiet people compared to the Turks, and
Yeah.
the Turks they have more stronger spices.
You think so?
Yeah, yes. At least in my knowledge of culinary cuisine, the spices are much stronger than the Greeks. Because the Turks would borrow things from Morocco. They have those flavors from Morocco, and it's like sumac and what are the flavors there's that makes it stronger. But I realized here in Trinidad or gyros or heroes, more they've tailored it for the Trinidadian cuisine with garlic sauce and cabbage with the meat.
Aioli sauce,
Yeah.
Aioli sauce, yeah.
So here I make my own tzatziki sauce and chicken, and it tastes 100% better.
Gotcha. I can appreciate that.
Home cook is always best, still.
Yeah, home cook is always good. Home cook is always good. I wish I could do those gyros myself, though. But I have a good friend. He has a gyro company called Tropical Gyros. They've also helped us with the tropic spin we just had recently as well. And those gyros are off the chain, man. You have the lamb gyros, the pork gyros, and chicken gyros, and the shrimp gyros. I've had them all, actually. And he puts just like how, here we are starting to do with the conch style, they have the mangoes and the pineapples and stuff like that. He has all of those fruits inside the gyro. So that's why he calls it a tropical gyro. And it's taken off, man. Yeah, it's taken off, man. He's really taken. He's opened up a second location, and he has his commissary and everything. He's really taken off, man. Those gyros is die for, man. And guess what? The Greeks are pissed with him because he stole the gyro, the gyro idea. And guess what? I sat and I spoke to him. He said that he wanted to rent an old Greek gyro restaurant because it had closed down because the Greeks who owned it, they had stopped, doing business. And all of a sudden he was going to rent it. He told them his idea, what he was going to do. And all of a sudden they turned him down. And then they reopened another gyro business right in the same spot. And he was so pissed. They were trying to undercut his business, man. He was really ticked off, man. And so he still got it open. Now his business is doing exceptionally well. Tropical Gyros, Chef Kelvin Culmer of Tropical Gyros. Yes, that's the best tasting gyro you'll ever have in this country.
So he's getting a free plug here.
Yeah, because he uses the real shavings, He uses the real shavings off the spittle.
Yeah.
While the Greeks here from the Acropolis Cafe and Athena Cafe, they give you those strips. They give you those patties, those lamb and chicken patties. That's not gyros, man. Get it out of here, man.
We have the Syrians here in Trinidad. They have the spindles with all the meats.
Yes. Yes, they treat you righteously, right? They treat your food with righteousness, don't they, Kim, right? Yes. That's what I say with the Greeks. They just expect that respect off top. They really haven't been on top of their game, man. They really haven't been on top of their game. You know? It's 9:30, Kim. Any final thoughts, man?
Just enjoy your weekend and be safe. Next week, Tuesday, here in Trinidad, we celebrate Emancipation Day.
Oh, really? Okay.
On Monday, we could probably,
Okay. We can talk about that on Monday then. If you're up for it. That's good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch this fight tomorrow, man. It's Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. It's a big fight, one of the biggest fights we ever had in boxing. I remember Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad is just as big as that Villa. Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield is just as big as the Villa. So I'm going to try to do my endeavor best to try to get out and see that. I've been calling around sports bars trying to find exactly who's playing it. And the guy at Twisted Lime told me to call back tomorrow morning to see whether or not he's ordering or not. So I'm going to try again tomorrow morning to see if there's actually watching it. And I'm going to make my way down to Twisted Lime out there in Sandy Port. So that's it for me. That's my weekend right there. So thank you, Kim, for joining us again for another LimeVibe Live podcast. And I just want to thank everybody else out there who's been watching us from Facebook and YouTube, LimeVibe77, LimeVibe77 on Facebook and YouTube. If you have not done so, please like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page, LimeVibe77. Like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us to share this message out with everybody else who's interested in what we're doing over here in the Caribbean. And also, there's a donate link inside the description. If you feel anything within your heart to give to the LimeVibe podcast and include Kim and myself, please do so. It's open. You can put in any amount that you wish. We really would appreciate your support. So there we are. So thank you once again for joining in for another LimeVibe Live podcast. This is your host, Yori Camp from Nassau, Bahamas, along with my beautiful co-host, Miss Kimberly Ramcalawan from Trinidad and Tobago. And we'll see you again next week, Monday. Oh, yeah. I also have an interview with the Tropic Spin winner on this Sunday as well. That's going to be up on our page as well. So, yeah, Kim. Thank you so much, Kim. Let's get out of here. Share this computer audio. That was a good show, Kim. I really appreciate that.